Hello, everyone. Welcome to The Path of Me. I'm your host, Wendy Hutchinson. And my guest today has been on this incredible journey to help young women find their voice, find their power. And she's a published author. She has created a nonprofit organization. She's hosting events. She has summer programs. She's just an amazing woman. Her name is Tierashia Adair. Welcome, Tierashia.
Thank you, Wendy, for having me. I truly feel honored for you to choose to interview me. So thank you.
You have such a beautiful story. Your work is so amazing. I just want to dive right in.
Let's do it.
Done so much. So much. I don't know, 15, 16 years, right? It's just been a labor of love. So I'm just going to let you start at the beginning. I know you were in a very traditional kind of life. You were a teacher in the beginning, right? Was it pre-K or early education?
Yes, pre-K. I taught pre-K. I taught first grade, second grade. I taught life skills. I even taught the self-contained resource class, kindergarten through fifth grade.
So tells me you're a very patient person. That's what that tells me.
Yes, and if I wasn't at first, I had to learn to be patient, and I had to learn very soon.
Yeah. And then tell me what happened. What created the shift for you? You were doing great. You were thriving in that career. You were honored Teacher of the Year, like perfect attendance. I mean, you had all these great contributions you were making. What was it that shifted your, what was the calling? Something happened that shifted you and pushed you into, kind of pointed you in a new direction.
Yes. And first of all, I would have to go way back from even before I had begun teaching. I was in college my senior year, and I had ended up pregnant. I had an unplanned pregnancy. And my plans, I was a drama major and had a minor in business administration. And my plan for my life was to go to Hollywood and be an actress.
Be a star.
Yes, I was going to shine bright. I was going to be rich and famous. And
I love it.
You know, like everyone believes. And I also had the option to go to film school in North Carolina. But here I was in my senior year pregnant, and I'm like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? And I remember just being in a very broken place, pretty much beating myself up, like, how could you do this to yourself? You know, you messed up your life. You can imagine
the biggest gift.
Oh, definitely. I would have to talk about that because I am so proud of my son, who is now 16 years old.
Love that.
But I was in a circle of friends and of mentors who were encouraging me to abort my son.
Oh,
and
that's so hard.
But it was so true. And I remember just, you know, really seriously contemplating doing that. But then at the same time, I was like, no, I can't do that. I can't take his life, you know. And I, you know, had grown up being grown up in a household of faith all of my childhood, and even, you know, going into my adult life, I had developed my own relationship with God, with Jesus Christ. And so here I was, I'm like, I'm going to abort, I'm not. And I wavered between two decisions. And I wavered so much so that I literally thought I was going to lose my mind because I couldn't make up my mind. And so I remember just in a very broken place, I cried out to God one night and I said, what do I do? Because I don't know what to do. And as surely as you can hear me talking and I can hear you talk, I heard the audible voice of God, and he said in a soft voice, reassuring voice, he said, Tierashia, you already know what to do. And just from those sweet words, you know, he didn't even tell me what to do. He said, you already know what to do. And in my heart of hearts, I did know that, you know, honoring his life, even though I did not know that, you know, I would have a son, was the best thing to do. And so from that experience, I gained strength because before I was walking around with my head down in shame, beating myself up. And I began holding my head up. I had made up my mind for sure, no matter what, I'm going to have this baby, no matter what. And
doesn't it take so much courage to stand in your truth? And to be able to do that at that age is so powerful. To have learned that at that age is so powerful. I'm sure that has served you well. It's like I was able to stand up against everyone, because I think in life, so often people want us to follow what is right for them.
Right.
Honor what is right for us.
Right. That's correct.
So for you to have that gift of that message from God and to honor it is so beautiful.
Praise God.
And look what you were gifted with as a result of honoring that truth, right?
And I know, and I just have to put this in right now. My son, his name is Tristan, and he is 16 years old, soon to be 17. And he is in the top 5% of his class. Currently, he went from class rank 26. He was ranked 26 at the beginning of his junior year, and now it's the end of the school year, and he's 16 in his class out of 526 students.
Fantastic.
And he's even having colleges reach out to him. Just recently, Baylor University reached out to him.
Wow, that's so exciting.
I know, he is a intelligent child. He's going to do great things in life. He's already doing great things because he studies with, and he takes a lot of advanced placement classes and always does.
Well, he's got a great role model. Mama.
And so once I had made up my mind that I was going to keep my son and nothing was going to persuade me to do otherwise, I took being pregnant very seriously. So I started reading books on how to care for myself properly. I read my college book to him out loud so he could hear, because you read all the philosophy about baby being able to hear and learn while they are still in the womb.
Must have paid off, because he's doing so well.
It really did, because this little precious boy at not even 2 years old was doing 25-piece puzzles. And he's such a strong math and science person. He is taking pre-calculus, and making A's and B's in the class. And I took pre-cal, and I was failing it in high school. And I was like, by the time I started understanding it, the school year was about to end, and it was too late. But here, he already understands, and next year he's already scheduled to take calculus. And I'm like, but he has it. He got it.
That's so great. That's so great. Let's come back. That's wonderful. I love that. I'm so glad he's with you. I'm glad you decided to keep him.
Yes, me too.
It sounds like, for sure. Beautiful. But let's kind of get back to your journey. So you you must have finished your college education, even though.
I did. Because I always took education seriously from the time I was a little girl. Was very self-motivated. I was the kid that my parents didn't have to tell me to do my homework and make good grades. I wanted to do that on my own, and so I did that. And so from day one in college, I always took care of my education business. And my social life was a wreck. But my educational life was on point. It was on track always. So I graduated on time, and then went on later to go on and receive 2 master's degrees in special education and in reading, both in curriculum and instruction.
I know you had a really beautiful teaching career.
Yes.
But I kind of want to fast forward to that pivotal moment when you realized maybe that wasn't your calling.
Yeah, let's talk about that. And that was the whole reason I started going back in the beginning, but I went off on a tangent. But before I began teaching, God told me, like, once I got pregnant, I started asking, you know, what do I do with my life now? God, give me some direction. And He told me to teach. And I enrolled in an alternative certification program. And He specifically told me to major in special education. And at that time, I was so ignorant towards special education, I didn't know much about it. In my head, I didn't say this out loud, but in my head, I was like, I don't want to teach retarded kids. I know it's sad, but that's what I said in my head. And like I just said, it was from being ignorant towards special, you know, kids with special needs, because then I come to this point now, I love children.
You probably fell in love with all of them.
I did.
It's so amazing.
And so God knew what He was doing. And so He started dealing with me also about going back to my hometown. And I did not want to go back to Hempstead, Texas. I was trying to get away from there. And God specifically told me, He said, before I release you to go anywhere else, you must go back to Hempstead. And so I remember working for the NASA Center for Applied Radiation Research at the university, at Purdue A&M University, as a receptionist. And I loved that job dearly, but I was trying to stay there while I could go ahead and get a full-time teaching job, because I was just comfortable being there with those wonderful people. And so God literally had to push me out of the boat. And so what happened was the account that I was being paid from ran out of money. And so my supervisor called me in. He said, Tierashia, I am so sorry, but the account we're paying you from has run out of funds, and so we will not be able to keep you. And I was like, oh my goodness. So now I got to go out.
Isn't that funny how life always pushes you? You know, you can resist, but you know what? The universe is going to align and shut where you need to be, whether you're on board with it or not. You're going there.
Right. Oh, you got it, Wendy. That is so true. And so here I am going out. I said, I'm going to go to Hempstead Independent School District, and I'm going to go to Waller. So I went to Hempstead first, you know, having grown up there and graduated from the school district. And so the guy who helped me, the administrator who helped me, he said, let me see what we have. And when he had come back, he said, the only thing we have, Tierashia, is a position in special education.
You're kidding.
That's what God told me to major in, you know? And so I was like, oh my goodness. And so the whole journey of teaching, because I started off as a paraprofessional, because that was the only position that they had. And I started off assisting a teacher in a life skills class, which was really an awakening for me, because I just wasn't aware of all the things that they did in a life skills class. And, you know, we had to change diapers of kids who would by that time be potty trained. And, you know, even if they had a bowel movement and stuff. And so my first experience was that one of the kids had a bowel movement, and it was so foul that I was like, oh, I kept gagging and I couldn't get myself together. And so the teacher dismissed me. She said, go to the restroom and get yourself together. And I remember running into the hall. I was so upset. And once I got to the restroom, I just slammed the stall door. I went, and I just broke down crying. And I said, God, why do you have me here? And I was upset. And for the second time in my adult life, I heard the audible voice of God. And He said, you must learn to be a servant. He said, as I take you up the ladder of success, you must remember that above all else, you are a servant. And so that whole 14 years of being in Hempstead Independent School District was Him making me into a servant.
That's so powerful.
I'm serious. I mean, I was broken down to be built up, to understand that my life was not my own, that I was created already with a purpose, not to find a purpose, but the purpose was already.
You're born. That purpose is inherent.
Yes.
That's one thing that's been so interesting to me. You know, so many people I talk to are like, I don't know what my life purpose is. I don't know. What should I be doing? Who am I? Where am I going? It's like, you're looking for everything outside when it's inside. It's inside. You need to go in, tap in, and tune in. And that's where you're going to find your life purpose. Right? Correct. It's not outside.
Not outside. It's not outside. It's inside.
Right.
Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
And so fast forward my 14th year, but let me back up to my 13th year, the completion of my 13th year. I made a comment because at first I did not want to be at the school teaching. I did not want to go back to my hometown. And so I had finally come, like midway through that journey, I had come to realize that, you know what, I'm meant to be here. I started looking at how I had blessed so many lives by being there, how God was using me to bless the kids, to bless parents, and just be a blessing to everyone I was around, you know, in the capacity in which He would have me to be.
Mm-hmm.
And so by this time, you know, towards the end of teaching, I was totally at peace with God's will for my life, whatever that was. If He wanted me to stay at the school and until
did you feel like you were being called into the next chapter? Did you feel a little?
That happened in my third. I always knew from the beginning that I was going to leave, because when He told me to teach, He said, "You will not retire as a teacher. Eventually, you'll be doing ministry full time." And so I knew that from the beginning. I just didn't know when I was coming out. And so that 13th year, I made a comment, and I said, because a lot of people were talking about leaving the district, and I said, well, I'm staying, and I'm not going anywhere until God tells me that it's time for me to go. So if everyone leaves and I'm the only person left behind, then that's okay with me. And I meant that with all of my heart.
Right.
So I go into that 14th year, and during our Christmas break, God started nudging my heart about applying to the school district neighboring us, to Waller Independent School District. And I was like, this is the devil. I just told God I'm going to stay here. You know, this is you know, I still got work to do. And I didn't think it was God. But then I went back to school when we started back after the Christmas winter break, whatever they call it. And my friend started talking about me, how she had started, you know, applying to different school districts. We had not talked about this at all. And I was like, you know what? I received some nudges over the break, you know, to apply to Waller Independent School District. And so that was confirmation from me that was God talking to me, saying, you know what? Now it's time for you to move on. And so I applied to Waller Independent School District and went to the job fair. Had a wonderful experience interviewing, especially because I'm certified to teach from early childhood to 12th grade. And so interviews went well, but at the end of the day, Wendy, nobody called me. After all the cheers you got to have you on our campus and all of these things, nobody called me. And I was upset with God. Can I be real? I was mad. I was like, why did you have me do this? Because that application process was not short.
Sure.
It took a long time to complete.
Right.
And I said, why did you have me do that? I said, I thought I was going to get a teaching job, you know. I was going to make more money, you know, hopefully be in a better environment, you know, since you're moving me on. And God stayed silent for a few days. And then He finally spoke to me in my early prayer time and listening time. And He said, I never meant for you to get another teaching job. He said, because if you get another teaching job, you're going to be bogged down all over again, and you're not going to be able to do the things I'm giving you to do. He said, you are to sub in Waller ISD. And then, like a flashback, in an instant, He took me back to a dream He gave me in 2012. And that time I was teaching second grade. And in the dream, He was showing me subbing. In the dream, and it all made sense. Like, I knew parts of the dream meant that my season was coming to an end, because in the classroom there was an exit door that I had gone out of, and outside of the exit door it was a concrete pavement with a desk and a computer.
You know, those lucid dreams mean something.
They do. I've done.
If you're having a lucid dream, that's a message.
Yes, that's a message.
Pay attention to, and there's always usually a metaphor for your life.
Yes.
So when you're having a lucid dream, you have to really sit back and go, feel into that. What does this mean to me? What is it? You know, most people go, I don't know.
They don't care. They just, shove it off, and it's like they don't even think about it anymore.
I know, but it really is. When you have like a lucid dream and you're there and you're observing and you're so lucidly there and you feel it, taste it, see it, smell it. You know, you're like so
Right.
totally there. That's a lucid dream. Pay attention, right?
And for me, I've been a dreamer since I was a little girl. And I witnessed things that I dreamt about come to pass. So I've always known
So
to
you've
pay
always
attention.
received messages that way.
Yes, 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 yes. Always,
So you're
always.
very receptive to it. I love that you honor that.
Oh, definitely.
So how
Yes.
did you transition out of the teaching job? Did you go and sub? Was that?
And that's what I've been doing for the past 2 years while I've been working on AMON, taking it to the next level, because in 2017, that was my 14th year of teaching, my last year, God had given me a mandate. He said, take AMOL to the next level. And
Let's
AMOL,
explain what AMOL is for people who don't
first of
know.
all, AMOL stands for a message of love. It is a nonprofit organization ministry for girls, and our mission is to improve the lives of girls by investing in the whole person. So that means spiritual, which is often the component that is left out of schools, spiritual, social, emotional, physical, and intellectual. And so we do summer camps, we do workshops, we do conferences, social events, and whatever God lays on our hearts. Like right now, I'm developing some after-school programs and for girls. One for a mentorship program for teenage girls, and another program for elementary girls.
I love that. I love
And
that.
so, but
You have all these connections in the school district because you've been with them probably for.
Oh yes, and that was the advantage of starting AMOM. And I didn't understand it at first when God had told me to teach. I was like, you're just ruining my life. You have me going down the journey, but I would not have been able to move with AMOM like I did without being a teacher first, because by being a teacher, I was able to establish a lot of relationships,
Right.
positive relationships with students and with parents, so that when I started with a group of about 8 to 10 girls during my summer breaks, working with them. And we would do field trips, we'd do community service projects, and I would do Bible lessons with them, and also do just regular life lessons on how to just be, how to function in life,
Yeah, that's so critical.
It really is. And so, again, focusing on the whole person. And so from there, each year, that group of girls started growing. And at the time, I was working from out of my church, which was a small church, and pastor allowed me to, work there with the girls. And so when the group started growing, we started getting 22 girls during the summer, then 30 girls. We ran out of space. And so Hempstead Independent School District worked with me, and they allowed me to use the school facilities during the summer. And so
That's
summer,
awesome. Wow.
Yes, 8 years. This is going to be the 8th year that they have allowed us to use the school facility. And we have a summer camp coming up July the 22nd through the 26th in Waller County in Hempstead for girls ages 8 through 14.
Now, if people want to sign up for that,
if they want to sign up for it, they can go to our website, amessageoflove.org. A message
I'll
of
put
love
that down below so that people can find you.
Registration forms are already up. Our flyers are already out. As a matter of fact, I'm delivering some more flyers because some of the schools use electronic flyer system, and so I've taken care of that end. And some school districts still use physical flyers, and so I have that end taken care of too.
So are you doing this full time now? Did you drop? What was the?
I am
full time with your organization.
Yes, and I am doing it full time. The major thing is always trying to find funding, to do the thing to do. And so that's a challenge in itself, but everything we've done, we've always been able in the nick of time to find the amount, funds and resources that we need just in time to host the events. And so
if somebody wanted to make a donation, can they go to your website and is there a donation?
Definitely on the website, and there's a tab at the top that says support AMOL, and then people can make a donation via that tab.
And you are a nonprofit, you're a 501c, so you do get a tax benefit.
Yes, you do.
Donating to your cause, which is wonderful.
And already this year, Wendy, we have reached out to over 300 people, mothers and daughters. At the beginning of this year, January the 19th, we hosted the Mother-Daughter Healing and Building Conference, because another thing that we have taken on is families, because to invest in the whole girl is to invest in her family, because the home is the first major environment of influence. And so if we don't also influence the home environment, the girls are going to be greatly challenged.
Yeah, absolutely. So you're now kind of expanding to offer support to the mothers, which I think is
and then next year, even the fathers. We're having a conference for fathers and children next year.
You're just expanding and expanding and expanding. I'm so impressed by you, Tierashia.
And let me tell you this, I'm going to go ahead and speak this. I plan on returning to Kenya this year. I go on mission trips, and I invest in an orphanage there. And so I plan to go back over sometime this year and do some specific lessons with some girls over there at the orphanage.
Oh, that's amazing.
And I can't give you a lot of details because I have to be very, minimal with the information that I give.
Sure.
So I'm really excited about that too. So
that's so cool. That's going to be an amazing trip. I hope you're going to pictures and let us virtually experience it with you.
Yay. Yes, ma'am, for sure.
Tell me how your book came about. I know you recently published a book.
Yes, ma'am.
Called Mommy, Will You Play With Me? Tell me.
That is it. Last year, God had laid on my heart to write a book, a simple book, a children's book, about parent-child relationships. About 2 years prior to that, he had begun dealing with me how he had a plan to restore families. And that was really something big that was on his heart. And so for those of us who would be willing to listen to him and obey, he had different avenues in doing that. Everything is not done through the church. There are other means of reaching out to people, and you really have to step out of the box to be able to see that, and to receive what God is giving you. And so he had given me this idea to write a book on, specifically in this book, mother-daughter relationship, but in general, it deals with a parent-child relationship, on the importance of parents pausing from their busy schedules and spending intentional time and devoted time with their children now while they're still young. And so in the book, there's a busy mom. She has a daughter. Both of them have had a rough day. She had mom at work, the daughter at school, but now they're at home. And Chloe, children are very resilient, and they bounce back quickly. And so all she cares about is, I'm at home with my mom now. Everything's okay. But mom is like, okay, I still have 1,000,001 things to do, and I got to get it done. And so Chloe poses a question that makes mom pause from her work and say, you know what, she's right. And so she's faced with the decision, am I going to stop what I'm doing and spend time with my daughter, or am I going to let this time pass away that I'll never be able to get back? And so wrote it last year and published it last year. So it was almost a whole year's journey to do that. And working with an artist, my niece, my adult niece came on, who was super talented, and another young lady who asked that she not be mentioned in the book came in and done some little touch-ups on my niece's drawings where she couldn't quite get things the way I wanted them to be. And so the assistant artist came in and just done some minor work to those things. And then some on 1 or 2 pictures, she did some extra work. And so we were able to get that done.
I love it.
Yes.
You know what I admire about you so much is you accomplish everything you put your mind to.
Oh, yes.
You are unstoppable, girl. You are amazing.
I tell people, Wendy, thank you. But I tell people, I said, I am not a quitter. I don't quit. And I guess that's why God has chosen me to do the things that he's chosen me to do, because even now I'm working on a documentary on abortion. and that's been a journey. And I started on it in 2007, all in the process of taking AMOD to the next level, subbing and making all of these.
Wow. So this has been an ongoing labor of love for you.
Yes.
You
Yes.
wrote the entire thing. I'm sure you're a writer, right?
Yes, I am. Yes. And I'm even working on some things right now. And once, the end of the school year is here, of course, there won't be any subbing positions over the summer. I will really be focusing on getting some other things with AMOL together, and also writing over the summer, along with, we have 4 events through AMOL during the summer too.
To fundraise and promote what's, your programs that are going on.
Yes, ma'am. And we just finished with our fundraiser for the year. But I have 2 partnership, a workshop and a day of science camp with Prairie View at A&M University that's coming up soon. And then our annual summer camp, which is at the end of July. And then we do a back to school event where we give out school supplies, backpacks, and we also do parenting classes at that event, because the vision that God gave me in regards to the back to school event was that oftentimes we just give people things that meets a physical need, but what about their inner needs? And so with us, they come and they take the classes, come to the short program, and then they receive all the free stuff that
I love that. So they get an education, they get support.
Yes.
And then they get the gift after.
Yes.
This is beautiful.
I love it.
Fantastic.
I love it.
Wow. Gosh, you've got so much going on. I don't know how you keep all those balls in the air. Do you have help? Do you have people who are...
As far as the leg work, I don't have a lot of help yet, because, of course, right now we're in a position where we don't have the finances to pay, for a full-time staff or anything like that. Mm-hmm. I don't even get paid right now. So, but I work like I'm getting paid. You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
Because this is my passion, and I want to make a lasting difference in the lives of people, the people I'm intended to serve. And so I
hope all of you that are listening will consider making even a small donation.
Anything. We are thankful for anything that people give. Number one, people don't have to give, they don't have to. And so for them to make that decision, that is truly a blessing.
Yes, absolutely. I love that. You have so much going on, and it seems like every time you accomplish something, you're being tasked with another. It's like, okay, well, let's just expand here. Before you know it, it's just going to snowball, right?
Oh my, yes it will. And I'm like, whoo. But in due time, the help that's really needed will come. But I will say, and I have to say this, I have a wonderful board. The board for AMAR, they are very supportive in the vision that's been given to me. They back me up, and so I am truly thankful for them.
I love that.
And also, and I have to mention, because it's just right to, be thankful for the people you do have in your life who are helping you accomplish, the things that have been given to you as a visionary. And those, and I want to just say thank you to all of those who have consistently given to this cause from the time I, began when it was young, and these people are still faithfully given. They still believe in the vision. They actually have seen that their the seeds that they've sown financially into this has made a difference, because we haven't stopped. We're 12 years into this.
Right. I think it's so amazing.
Bigger and bigger.
And
that's so broader and broader.
Also, we should acknowledge your wonderful husband.
Oh, girl, yes. And
I know you just had an anniversary, right?
Oh, look at you, keeping up with me.
I mean, girl, I'm paying attention.
But we have been married for 17 years, and truly it's the grace of God that we're still together, and both of us are committed to staying together, because you have to have 2 people willing to be together. And I do want to say a very special thank you to James Adair III for sticking by my side, even when you didn't really understand all of this stuff that, has been given to me. and you know, he was a little leery at times, but still stuck by my side and have often come through with supporting me and my children too, because we have to make a lot of sacrifices. Like even now, without having a home base, because we partner with ministries, organizations, churches, schools to be able to host our events. And, you know, those people who partner with us have been amazing in allowing us to do that. So our house is not just our house, you know. We have tons of AMOS stuff. I don't know if you see stuff behind me, bookshelf.
I see all kinds of stuff back there.
There's a shed that's full of AMOS stuff in the back of our house, and it's almost reached its capacity. And I'm like, Lord, where are we going to go from here? Because there's stuff in our dining room, stuff.
You're gonna find a space. I feel like that's coming very soon for you. You're gonna find a dedicated space. I just feel like that
would be amazing.
For sure, for sure. I want to ask you, you know, when you're guided to do something that you're so passionate about, the journey is not always easy.
No.
There's so much adversity, and you have to be so tenacious, and you have to be so firmly committed in your belief in what you're here to do and who you're meant to be.
Yes.
To stay the course. You know, in those darkest times, what has been the thing that has pulled you through? I just want to share a tool, you know, for the people who are out there listening to this interview who may be struggling. What has given you the strength to continue to go? Is it the support you receive from the people around you, or a spiritual practice, or, you know, what is it?
It definitely has been, when it comes down to it and I have to zero in, it has definitely been a spiritual practice of staying prayerful, staying connected to God, you know, spending time with Him, you know, taking that time in the mornings and just sitting still and listening for His voice when it's not loud and not a lot of activity going on. Because there have been times along this journey when I have literally felt betrayed by everyone and just have cried, you know, just bawled my eyes out. My heart has been crushed because some of the things that have happened, and the people that I looked for encouragement for at that time of being broken did not give it to me. And the only place I could run to was to God. And He would strengthen me so that I would get back up and not be angry at the people, but to forgive them, embrace them, you know, because ultimately they mean me well. You know, the ones who are close to me that I felt like should have given me support, you know, should have, you know, comforted me, should have held me at that time, but, you know, only had words that were accusing, you know, accusations, pointing. And I'm reminded of the word a lot of times too, just staying in the Bible, because I remember a story about David when he had come back from a battle and they had come back to their home base, and their women were taken, their women and children were taken, their city was burned, and all the men who were on his team who supported him turned their backs on him and wanted to kill him, and he felt like he was by himself. He had no one else who came to him and said, you know, it's going to be okay. So the word says that he encouraged himself in the Lord. And so that's what I've learned to practice, to encourage myself in the Lord, to know that I have a higher calling, to know that I must fulfill it. I hold on to that with every grain of my being. And I know, like, even now in this new season that I'm in, you know, there are people who literally think that I have lost my mind, because they're like, why would you quit a full-time job, you know, with benefits to go after this thing that you don't even know all about? But you know what I do know? I do know what God has told me. I do know what He has shown me over all the years in leading me up to this moment, because He didn't just say all of a sudden. He's been preparing. He was preparing me all those 14 years in the classroom. He was preparing me for the moment to lead.
and I didn't get fired. Some people can say they got fired, and then so they had a reason to go. I really had to exercise my
You made
faith.
a choice. You made a
I
choice.
made a
You
choice.
chose. You chose to put your energy towards what you've been guided to do, which
Yes.
is so powerful. And I can totally relate to being broken and alone, and it's such a difficult
Yes.
place. But I'll tell you, when you rise from those ashes, you're unstoppable.
Hallelujah. Yes, you are unstoppable. Because look, this girl right here, this woman, I don't quit. And some tough stuff have been thrown at me. I don't quit. It's not in my vocabulary. It's not even an option. Quitting is not even an option. So whatever I have to go through, press through, fight through, yeah, hey, we gotta do it. I'm a warrior.
You are a warrior. You keep getting up. You keep getting back up, and that's the key, right?
Yes, that's it.
Keep getting back up. Well, Tierashia, it has been so wonderful.
Thank you.
Spending this time with you. Is there anything you want to add to our conversation to feel complete? It's been such a beautiful story.
No, but I do encourage the audience to go check out our website, the AMOM website, the Message of Love website at amessageoflove.org. And we're also on Facebook too at AMOM Ministries. And if you can't get it there, you just type in A Message of Love and it'll pop up. You'll see our logo, which is AMOL, all caps, with a little heart looped around the O and wrapped around the L, and then A Message of Love printed out below it. And so you'll know it's there. And Mommy, Will You Play With Me is officially on Amazon. And so if you're interested in just getting a peek or purchasing the book, you can go on Amazon to do that. If you would like an autographed copy, you can go to my website, adairenterprises.com, and you can order a copy that way.
I'll put all of that information below, and also at the end of our video once it's edited. So, Tierashia,
thank you.
It was so wonderful.
Thank you, Wendy.
The world, and to my audience, thank you so much for tuning in. I love you all. Be kind to yourselves, and love each other. And I would be so humbled and grateful if you would subscribe, like, and share The Path of Me on YouTube. So we'll talk to y'all later. We'll see you later.
Bye.
Be good to yourselves. Bye.